Welcome back, all our 40k fanatics out there. I'm DJ.
And I'm Lane.
And we are here with Tim's Nation to bring you another Warhammer 40k battle report. As mentioned last week, I am running Grey Knights once again. New codex, new rules, new detachments. Got to try and see what we can do with these guys. But this week, I'm going a little bit more competitive. I got my book actually in hand today. And I have been spending a lot more time scouring the internet, looking to see what a lot of people also have been talking about, looking at and seeing what worked, and kind of putting stuff together myself, as we've seen last week, while taking 6 4-man squads of Terminators is absolutely adorable.
It's a style pick.
It is not, wasn't as efficient. We need more damage output to make it go. Playing that MSU style like I did at the beginning of the edition, now too much damage output, too much there. So this week I'm taking the Banishers. We're going to see if we can't get a little more damage out of these guys. I think I'm closer to a competitive list format with this detachment. And we'll see how it plays out. And we're going into Lane and his
Death Guard. Death Guard are back. This is almost the same list I ran 2 weeks ago because DJ really wanted to play into something competitive. So this is probably the strongest thing I have right now. Yeah, it's Death Guard and Mortarion's Hammer. I'm going to drive a Land Raider through a wall and disembark Death Shroud, and they're going to punch something to death.
Yeah. What's nice is with the Banisher detachment, we will get to see there's a stratagem, which in a lot of times in the past, Grey Knights usually have some weird, wonky ability or enhancement or something that goes, if you're facing demons, you get this ability. Mm-hmm. They still have something in there for it, and that's in this detachment, but it's a little bit more useful. 1 command point strat to give a unit anti-chaos 4-ups.
Unfortunately, I am chaos.
Exactly. Not only are you chaos, but so is Thousand Suns. Mm-hmm. So are Emperor's Children. Mm-hmm. And we also, obviously, Chaos Space Marines.
Chaos Knights.
And that's the big one, Chaos Knights. Being able to go anti-infantry 4-up going into a big knight could be some juicy sauce right there. Mm-hmm. So we'll see if that plays into it a little bit there. You know, it's only 1 command point, but there is a lot. This detachment to me seems like the most. There's a lot of good enhancements. There's good enhancements. There's good stratagems. The detachment rule someone brought up earlier today, and I kind of got to agree with the point that they made into it too. It is iffy because this is a detachment rule, and the ability your army gets, you may not get if you fail a leadership check. Which I get it. That's kind of rough beats, and we don't have access to really any rerolls. So it makes the detachment rule a little bit weaker. But the stratagems and the enhancements definitely make up for it, including the fact that out of all the Grey Knight stratagems, one of the most powerful stratagems from the index, this is where it landed home. Changed to Shadows of... it's Mistademos.
Let me see it. I'll pronounce it right. You keep going.
Shadows of... But yeah, Mistademos, as you've seen in the past, is the Grey Knight strat that lets you pick a unit up if your opponent ends a move within 9 inches of it, and you can put them in strategic reserve. And because of the timing of it, you could theoretically rapid ingress them immediately after doing so.
It's just 2 syllables, DJ. It's Anarch.
Is it really just Anarch?
It's just Anarch. Shadow of Anarch.
I just got the book today, so I haven't really looked at it. I knew it was there. Okay, give me a break.
That's way fewer syllables than most GW names for things. So.
And at least it didn't start with the letter I, like most Space Marine things.
It'll be an interesting interaction with my list today because there's 2 things that get around that. Deep strikes, although they count as a normal move for the models that are deep striking, they don't count as a normal move as far as the interactions from other rules and strats and abilities. Mm-hmm. The only thing that gets around that is Overwatch, because Overwatch strat specifically says if it moves or if it's set up on the table. Yeah. And disembarks as well. I have a Land Raider that can move. I can then stay outside of 9 with the Land Raider, disembark 3 inches, and the disembark does not count as a normal move for your rules either. So those are 2 things that kind of get around that. If you're curious as that, you can look in the app under counts as normal move. Because it counts as a normal move for the unit that's doing the moving, but not in relation to other rules or abilities that are triggered by that.
Yeah, and it specifically says when your opponent finishes a normal move, advances, or falls back. And speaking of rules, one thing I want to throw out there, because a lot of people question me on this, and I've heard this a lot of times, and I could understand where kind of the confusion lies into when I say this way and understanding. The Grey Knight special rule, the army rule, where the teleport striker, in this case now Gate of Infinity, when you pick a unit up, Yes, it's at the end of your opponent's fight phase. They're very specific about that because there was some issues in the previous one. It's like, well, when I pick this unit up, what happens? Do you score this point? Does this secondary go? No. If you pick the unit up, then actions cease and stuff like that because it happens
so
at the end of the fight phase.
End of fight phase, not end of turn.
Correct.
Okay.
But the thing is, for conversation points, I say often end of my opponent's turn because the end of after their fight phase, it is the end of their turn. However, that is a very important. It's not the same thing. And it's like, as much as I want to say, oh, well, it's the end of the fight phase, it's the same thing. It really isn't because those secondaries and stuff do make difference. So, yes, I appreciate people throwing it out there because that is a very, very, very good point to bring up. And I wouldn't want to mislead newer players into it. But, yes, I will often say at the end of Lane's turn, I'm going to pick these up. Yes, because of the end of the fight phase. But because of the wording, that means that some of those secondaries that score at the end of a turn, you're not passing to that because you're doing it at the end of the fight phase. So you haven't moved to the end of turn sequence and are unable to score some of those things if you pick those models up. So just a little clarification out there when you guys hear me say, oh, at the end of Lane's turn, or I'm picking this unit up the end of Lane's turn. Yeah, it's kind of just a bad bookkeeping because of the fact of how it worked previously. But yes, I'm 100% aware of the fact that it is very, very, very different for that reason, for point scoring purposes. So, all right, enough said there. Lane, show us what you got, and let's get ready to game. Lane, Death Guard.
If you want to know more about the models, the detachments, the army rules, the stratagems, the enhancements, the special rules, and how we plan to use all that, please check out our separate army list videos. But for now, here's a quick rundown. I am playing 1,995 points of Death Guard in Mortarion's Hammer. I have 2 Lords of Contagion, one of which has the Shriekworm Familiar enhancement. I have a Lord of Virulence with the Tenderless Emissions enhancement. I have a Tallyman. We have 2 10-mans of Poxwalkers, 1 2-man of Chaos Spawn, 2 6-mans of the Death Shroud Terminators, a Chaos Land Raider, 3 Fetid Bloat Drones with Heavy Blight Launchers, a 1-man of my Fetid Blight Haulers, and a 2-man of my Fetid Blight Haulers. That's the list. DJ, what are you bringing today?
All right, for the Grey Knights out of the Banishers detachment, I'll actually mention the enhancements I'm bringing because I am bringing 3 in there. So first of all, we have a 8-man squad of Paladins. They will be led by a Grand Master with the enhancement that gives us reroll 1s to hit in shooting. Then we have a 5-man squad of Paladins that will be led by a Librarian with the enhancement to give us +1 AP in shooting. We have a 10-man squad of Purifiers led by Castle and Crow. We have 5 Purifiers with swords, 5 Strike with swords, 5 Interceptors with swords, and of course, the Never Leave Home Without It, 2, count them, 2 Nemesis Grandmaster Dread Knights, complete with their awesome, amazing new missile launchers.
The Fragstorm grenade launchers?
Yeah, basically. That makes no sense for Grey Knights at all.
That's the only gun you want to talk about.
That's the only thing. Not talking about the Tater Cannon.
No, not the Sublime Tater Cannon.
The Sublime Tater Cannon. We're shooting Sublime trainers or Subliminal Taters. Sublime. I go Sublime. But one of those Grandmasters will have the enhancement that just does D3 mortal wounds. 18 inches, take D3. No roll needed to see, no ones to miss on that.
Right. You're not going to hurt yourself when you roll 1?
No, and speaking of not hurting myself, this will be the first time running Librarian who doesn't have Hazardous or anything. He's not going to blow himself up when he does the Vortex of Doom. D6 +3 shots on it. Love it.
That's fine as long as he doesn't do 12 mortal wounds to me.
Not 12 mortal wounds to you. That's Eric when we played.
No, you did 11 to me once.
He did? Yeah. Well, you were my partner in the team event when we played against Eric and Marcus, and I did 12 mortal wounds to one of his knights, and then he's standing across the table. I roll it again, and he's just standing there smiling, rolling his dice, and then you just see his face he's like, yeah. Then he just stops and goes, did you really just do 12 mortal wounds to me again? Twice in one game. I mean, that's... we'll always miss that.
That's awesome, but I'm not going to miss it when I'm playing against it.
But things we will miss, as you notice maybe today, my Paladins, the 8-man squad, the Paragon, which is the character sergeant leader troop, is going to be played by Lord Calidor Drago. Since GW wanted to take him away, I figure this is the place where he should play.
He's back.
Yes, Drago is meant to lead some Paladins. So, okay, put him at the front of the helm of the Paladins. I could take him as a Grandmaster, but he doesn't have a gun, and Grandmaster does have gun, and I want Grandmaster with gun. So, that's about it. All right, enough of that. It's time to start playing some Warhammer. Lane, odd or even?
Even.
And it is odd. So you have infiltrators.
Infiltrators and scouts.
So I will let you deploy first. I only have a scout move, but I'm not going to be using it. And we'll be back after deployment. All right, we are deployed. Lane, tell everyone what we are doing here today.
We are playing the glorious game of Warhammer 40,000. Our deployment today is search and destroy, so table quarters. And our mission today is hidden supplies. So hidden supplies, we put an extra objective in the middle of the table. You get 5 points if you control an objective in no man's land. You get 10 points on primary if you control 2 objectives in no man's land. And you get 15 points if you control more objectives than your opponent. And your home field, your deployment zone objective does count for the holding more, but doesn't count for the first 2 for 5 or 10 points. So,
all right, as far as deployment, so I put the 8-man Paladin with a Grandmaster and the 10-man Purifier with Crow are starting the game in strategic to deep strike in. We have a squad of strike back here holding the home field objectives so they can sticky that and then find other jobs. We have a squad of Purifiers back here. Depending on what Lane does, they can stay there or they can move back to take the strike's position to just zone out Lane's deep strike and strategic from that area, and so that the strike can go out there and sticky more objectives. We see how that goes. Then we have both our Grandmasters out there. This Grandmaster, even if Lane decides to go through the wall, he would, with Disembark, he would need a 15-inch charge. And I don't know if you guys know the math on that one. That seems impossible on 2d6.
Death Guard are good for it.
Yeah, you're not even legally allowed to declare the charge since he's not within 12. So he's good. So that keeps those guys and just kind of lets me see what Lane's doing. I didn't want to put them in deep strikes. I want some onboard threats so that I don't just give Lane the entire field to just go, I'm going to do whatever I want. Now it makes him actually think, because if the Dread Knights start going, especially with Lane's vehicles, they can really do some work. We have the Interceptors here ready to bounce out and be able to grab 1 of 2 objective markers depending on where we want to go. And then we have our 5-man squad of Paladins led by the Librarian. They have the 18-inch Lone Op ability because of the Librarian. So they're going to be able to walk out there or pick up and land and probably head over here into the corner. We'll see how that goes. All right, that's me. Lane, what do you look like?
So we don't have a whole lot on the board here. We do have a squad of Poxwalkers infiltrating over there to get on an objective early in the game. Objectives are the game, I guess. You need to score points somehow. We have our Land Raider with Death Shroud in there and a Lord of Contagion, who does have the enhancement for the free Overwatch. Got some Spawn ready to scout out and do a little bit. 1 Myphitic Blightholler, some Poxwalkers, and I'm back here to kind of block out some Deep Strike onto my home field. And the Tallyman, who's going to be on the bottom floor there. I just put him there so I don't forget about him. Everything else is in reserve. We have a 6-man Death Shroud in Deep Strike. I have 3 Fetid Bloat Drones with the heavy Blight Launchers in reserve, and the 2-man Myphitic Blightholler in reserve, as well as the Solo Lord of Virulence.
Gotcha. Now, you mentioned that the Tallyman's on the bottom level because, that's how we do it with the train, just so you guys are able to see it. But you didn't say anything about this dude, so this is completely 100% what we're looking at right now. That Lord of Contagion is actually on top of the Land Raider, is riding on top of that Land Raider, and so I can then shoot at him, right?
He is surfing that Land Raider.
That's
absolutely
completely what I thought, because that is totally legal and completely what we do here. That is competitive tech right there. You do not need to have, who cares if you have transport capacity? If it sits, it fits. So there you go. All right, Lane, I know I ask it. I've kind of gotten tired of asking it because I feel like it's the same deal. We want to just...
I want to go second.
Want to go second.
So you don't go second.
Exactly. All right. Ooh, that was the dice clash. And you win that dice roll, so that means you will be going first. You have a couple of scout moves, you said?
Yeah, some Spawn are going to go somewhere. Go, run, little babies.
Yeah, where are they going? Over there. All right. Well, that's everything. So now it is time to play the game.
All right. After first drawing 3 cards that I could not do in round 1, as is my custom, I pulled Bring It Down and Extend Battle Lines. So one of those is great. My little poxies here are extending battle lines. These Spawn actually made it all the way over here too. On an advance, they got on that objective too. We'll see how DJ decides to deal with them. And then my tally man did successfully tally, so I did get an extra command point. So I'm going to keep bringing it down for the to see if DJ shows me any of those Nemesis Dread Knights. But yeah, that's it. I did put my contagions. I chose the neg to hit contagion again because he's got so many invulns that I figured that's more useful for me. So I did put contagions. But you see my little Nurglings next to the 2 Grandmasters here, so they will be neg to hit. Yeah, that's it. That's my turn. Just got to extend. On to DJ.
For this turn, the Grey Knights are looking at Cleanse and Secure No Man's Land. So at the end of Lane's turn, or end of the fight phase, as it would be, I chose to pick up the 2 Grandmasters. They're not dead. That's why they're not here. I picked up the 2 Grandmasters, and I picked up the Paladin squad. I moved the Interceptor straight up here. They're going to cleanse this objective and give us Secure No Man's Land on this objective for the 2 points. Then I brought the Paladins down here to try and shoot and get rid of the spawn from that corner. Now, the Dread Masters are right over here, off board. I chose to leave them in strategic. That's a big change over to Gate of Infinity, is that those units do not have to come back down. They just leave the table and go in strategic. So these guys are hanging out there. They can be a rapid ingress target, potentially, and are going to hang out with me. The Purifiers that were out there moved back, so the Strike can move back here. So now we can pick the Strike up, and the Purifiers can still kind of zone out this area over here. And then now, with Secure No Man's Land and Cleanse, we're going to go after just this one objective on it, which will give us 4 points. A big reason is, if I easily could go out here with those Interceptors and cleanse this, and then I could have left the Dread Knight or land a Dread Knight over here and cleanse one of these objectives and Secure No Man's Land and score a big 10 points and give Lane a Challenger card. So I don't want to do that. So instead, he scored 4 points. We're going to match him on 4 points. Since we hold this objective now with 2 models, we'll Secure No Man's Land for 2. We will cleanse for 2. Before any of that happens, we're going to shoot and see how this enhancement for +1 AP does going into the spawn.
No, not my babies.
Let's see how this goes. So sadly, we did not take out the spawn. We were only able to take out one of them with the Vortex. Vortex rolled good for 8 shots, but then just ones and twos for the hits and the wounds, and just couldn't put it through to take them out, really. So that was sad. I thought the Vortex would pick up one, and the squad would pick up another. So unfortunately, no, that's not the way that story was wrote. But 1 Chaos Spawn left. I'm not too concerned about it. He can charge in. He might pick up a strike or 2, but we'll be able, or an Interceptor or 2, we'll be able to put him back down. So rough beats. That's going to happen. But we did what we intended on doing. And then we tried to charge and we failed. Got an 8. Hit the 8, not the 9. So instead, we're just going to score our 4, 2 on Cleanse, 2 on Secure No Man's Land, and pass it back over to Lane and his turn 2.
On my turn, I pulled Assassination and Tempting Target. One of those is looking good. DJ tried to tempt me with this target. I've already taken it from him. So good news there.
I just wanted to bring him in my corner.
Yeah. Bad news is I don't think I'll be able to, unless I chew through this whole squad with the shooting from here, I don't think I'm going to be able to get Assassinate. I doubt that will happen here. So, but we did bring in some blow drones from reserve so they can shoot at these Paladins, start working away at those. We can also shoot at these Interceptors here. I also deep struck here. I chose these 2 squads in the back. The Purifiers and the Strike as my 2 contagions, so I was able to 6-inch deep strike with the Death Shroud there. Land Raider went through a wall, not to disembark yet, but just to get out there and prevent DJ from rapiding onto an objective, just trying to shut him out from primary for a turn. And then that's about it. Nothing else happened. Nothing else happened. Oh, no. There's Paladins here. DJ did decide to rapid ingress the Paladins. He saw that I was going to try to take his deployment zone objective, so he rapids in here and is going to try to take my deployment zone objective. Yeah, he did leave me the ability to shoot at him with these units here, so I can choose my targets. We'll see. We'll see what happens, see what I decide. So, yeah, that's it for the movement.
Also, show people here over here. We got to talk about this. Yeah. So in order to make this deep strike happen, it takes 4 widgets because we had to make sure, because these guys were 9 inches because they're not in contagion, but then these guys are in contagion, so these guys are 6 inches. So we had some fun playing with templates to make sure that this legally could happen.
Yeah, squeezed them in there. All right, I'm going to do some shooting. I started shooting with the Land Raider. He missed with 3 of his last cannons, and DJ made the save on the 4th one. He didn't do any damage into here. However, we decided to use the bloat drones. Instead of shooting at these paladins, we decided to shoot at these paladins. Went pretty well. We did end up picking up the squad with both bloat drones and the Myphitic Blighthauler going in there. The librarian is still left alive, so he's still a dude that I have to deal with. Over here, the Lord of Virulence's Flamer did kill 1.5 of these guys, and then the Flamers from the Death Shroud did pick up 1 more wound off of 1, so we did get them down to 3. That's it for my shooting. Not a whole lot of shooting going on here, but now Paladins, killing us Paladin squad's nice. Let's do a little charging. Let's see if we get somewhere. The Death Shroud have wiped out both the 5-man squads in here. Just on the way, I had to charge them. It was a little touch and go with the Lord of Contagion, and 1 of the Death Shroud could swing into the 5-man. It was on the objective. They did manage to sweep them. The other 5 guys were in the other squad. Pretty handily swept through them. So we did steal DJ's home deployment zone objective. Over here, I did tank shock when I charged them with a Myphitic Blighthauler. Picked up 1 of the interceptors here, but the spawn and the Myphitic Blighthauler did no damage in combat, just couldn't get anything through. And they did 4 damage to the Blighthauler when they punched back. That's it for my turn. We did not assassinate. I'll hold on to that, see what DJ shows me, because I already did get a CP for the tally man, and we did score tempting target over there for 5 points. 5 points, yeah. All right, on to DJ.
So the cards want me to storm a hostile objective and go behind enemy lines. At the end of the fight phase, I chose to pick up the Librarian and found a nice, beautiful little pocket right back here. So he's going to start harassing Poxwalkers with Vortex of Doom and all that jazz into them. And you could even harass these guys if they try to get into them. So that's kind of where we're going there. And he'll be behind enemy lines. So we'll get those 3 points there. Otherwise, because we chose to instead, we move the Paladins. We advance them so that we're going to try and make a charge onto these bloat drones and try and mess them up because they do way, way too much damage. We stayed in combat over here. A lot of this stuff doesn't do too much damage, so we'll see how that goes with them. And then the Purifiers came in from reserve. Layton gave me 1 little Death Shroud over here, so we're going to put all of our anti-infantry hate onto this squad. And then we also brought in both of our Nemesis Dread Knight Grandmasters right here. They're within 18 inches for their Tater Gun, and we also have the side cannons. So we're going to try and pour everything in Land Raider. If we get lucky and do take the Land Raider out, that would really, really be huge because then those Death Shrouds are going to be walking next turn. So that's roughly it for us right now. Oh, and then also we position ourselves right over here so we can try and stick a charge onto these Poxwalkers as well. You know, that would be nice to bring that Dread Knight away from that. So, all right, first things first, we got some shooting to do. Not that great of a shooting phase. So with the Purifiers, Lane did pretty well with the saves. Still was able to pick up 2 of them, and this guy's down to 2 wounds. So we're going to try and stick a 9-inch charge there. We're going to be throwing a lot of 9-inch charges now. Then over here, the Dread Knights really didn't do too much to him. What's he at, 13?
13, yeah.
The only thing we did was get the Psychic Power, so not so good over here. The Librarian picked up 4 of the Poxwalkers over here. So, and then these guys advance because they want to get closer, and we're going to spend the command point to let them charge. So, all right, now we need to get some luck over on our side and get some charges and stick some 9 inches and hope that helps us catch up from some bad shooting. All right, so we did stick some charges. The Paladins were able to make it in. Lane did spend a command point to try to slow me down a little bit just so I couldn't get quite as far. And I was still able to pick up both him and the Lord of Contagion. We only did 3 damage to him on our charge, so we didn't take him down with us. But we did pick up 1 bloat drone and then tag this bloat drone, so at least it's not going to be able to go much of anywhere. When we fought back over here, we only took 1 damage in total, but we did put another wound onto the Blight Hauler, putting it down to 4 wounds. And then in here, we stuck the charge. We popped Anti-Chaos. We did Sustained. We're at -1 to hit, and we took this down to 1 with everything. We took in combat, we took it down to 1 Death Shroud and the Lord of Contagion. Crow really came up big. That Anti-Chaos 4-up with his Dev Wounds really helped. to get these guys cleared out of there. So that was really nice. We'll see how it plays out into the later turns.
Yeah, that interaction we didn't think about beforehand, but the anti-chaos with precision with dev wounds on Crow did a lot of damage.
Suddenly becomes a monster. I wish he would have gotten a couple sustained in there, but hey, we'll take that. Because I rolled the sustain, but I really didn't get any on that one. And I did lethal over on the paladins. And then we did fail a charge here and here, but I mean, he wasn't really, he did his job. So we're going to get 4 for overall, for storm a hostile objective, because we did take this objective back from lane, because we have 3 to his 2 on OC. And for behind enemy lines, we do have that librarian hanging out back there. So we're going to get 3 points on that, giving us 7 points. And that's it for the Grey Knight turn. Over to lane.
Okay, I kept Assassinate from last turn because DJ did show me some characters, and I pulled, sorry about the light, Secure No Man's Land here. So that is also going to be easy. We got 15 on primaries because we held definitely a lot more than DJ did. So what we're going to do is try to kill these Nemesis Dread Knights, I guess. So that's really the only movement here. I moved the Land Raider forward. As we said before, the ability, the Shadows of Anarch, or whatever the strat is, I moved the Land Raider so it was just outside of 9 inches from the Dread Knights here, and then I disembarked. The disembark does not count as a move, so these guys are going to have a 6-inch charge. If there's anything left to charge after we do some shooting. I'm sure there will be. I'm sure DJ's going to make some 4-up involves. So we're going to do some, because I brought in the Blight Haulers and the bloat drone to shoot at these guys. So between the Land Raider and all those widgets over there, we should pick up 1 in shooting and then go for the other one in combat. So that's about it. We stayed here. We're not moving anywhere here. We're not moving anywhere over here. Not doing anything. Just staying locked in combat there. So that's it. We just scooched these guys back a little bit just so that Librarian doesn't get an easy charge. Same thing with these Poxwalkers. They ran away from the Librarian. He'd be able to see them, shoot at a few of them, but I'm just going to try and keep objectives and keep the primary as long as I can. Now, that is it for the movement. Let's do some shooting. Just kind of rolled the shooting and the combat into one here. Basically, all these guys and these guys shot one of the Nemesis Dread Knights away, and then the Death Shroud charged in and were able to pick up the other one in combat. Over here in combat, Crow fought. That was really the only shooting. The Mephitic Blight Hauler tried to shoot this guy in combat. That's it. He couldn't really do it. Didn't get any wounds through. So, yeah, DJ's Crow. He used the anti-chaos 4-up strat again, and he ended up doing 12 mortal wounds to the
squad entirely.
To the squad, and so he wiped them completely.
Sustained, and then we hit 3 sixes. Since it's a character unit, we get reroll hits. Crow's not happy right now. So
that's an interesting interaction. I mean, you can use that in anything that's chaos. So go and punch a chaos knight and do. I mean, with sustained, he rolled 3 sixes, so it's pretty good roll there. But he does get full rerolls in the character, so it definitely helps. So the Lord of Contagion did pop back up with 3 wounds. Over here, we just pounded each other and didn't really do anything. Didn't kill anybody. I guess the Lord of Virulence here did kill one of the paladins. Mm-hmm. They got the Lord of Virulence down to 1. They got the bloat drone down to 2. They're almost dead. This Blight Hauler's down to 2. So, yep, that's it. So I did score Assassinate for the Grandmaster and Dreadnought, and I got Secure No Man's Land. And that's my turn. On to DJ.
All right, so we're kind of running out of assets. So for the Grey Knight turn, we got Display of Might and Overwhelming Force. So we finished off, we moved back just enough so we're out of flamer range of these guys, maybe when they move, and then Purifying Flamed him into Oblivion. So we got 1 Overwhelming Force there. We did pick up the Librarian at the end of Lane's turn and dropped him back down over on this side. Then we shot at this bro, Tallyman, got him down to 1 wound because Vortex just did not want to happen against him. Then we did stick our charge though, and we're starting to pick up the Poxwalker, so we're starting to take this objective with just the solo Librarian. That's always fun. And then over here, the Paladins did finally finish off what they were fighting over here with the bloat drone and the Lord of Contagion, right? That's
Yes.
him. Yeah. And then the hero, the true hero, the interceptor, finished off the blight hauler that was at full wounds when it started. He took that thing down, and he's still standing with 2 wounds, so he's still ready to go into that spawn next. So there's that. So we pitched Display of Might, picked up the command point, and we'll kick it over to lane. We did get 5 on Overwhelming Force, so that's a positive.
This turn I ended up with Overwhelming Force and Cleanse. What I have opted to do is to cleanse with the Land Raider and the Bloat Drone, and hope that this spawn maybe kills this last Interceptor after round and round and round. It's been since round 2, so it's been like 4 rounds of combat that we're sitting here. So
Interceptors.
Yeah, so if I kill him, I get the Overwhelming Force. Not going to be any shooting. I'm just trying to position things, so I advanced up here. Poxwalkers are going to cleanse. These vehicles advanced. These guys advanced. That's it. So we'll just see how this fighting goes right here. Guys, I'm so proud of my little spawn. Look at my little guy. Oh, he's just beaming with pride. He rolled a 6 on his number of attacks, so he had 8 attacks, and finally finished off that's Interceptor and gave me Overwhelming Force for 3 points. So good job, little spawn. He did take a couple damage first. I'm sure nothing bad is going to happen to him at all. So anyways, that was my turn. 5 for Cleanse and 3 for Overwhelming Force. DJ did kill the last 3 spawn here on this one.
Poxwalkers.
Yeah, they're all the same to me. They're all Poxwalker spawn. They're all my little Griblies. So on to DJ's turn.
All right. So at the end of lane's turn, end of the fight phase, I picked up the Purifiers back here because I know that they're not in any good position. They can't, if they try to move into the corner of this terrain to charge, even so, or do anything over there, it's like a 9er charge, so not really worth it. So we picked them up. Then we drew in. We did get a Challenger card, which lets us do an action to score 3 additional points. Right now, I'm just going to kind of try and do damage. I think we're kind of at that point that I just want to save face and blow some stuff up. So instead, we'll probably use that to get us reroll hits and wound roll of 1 and have some fun with some stuff. So these guys moved up. They're all within 24 inches of the Land Raider. We'll pop that Anti-Chaos 4-up strat. They already have reroll 1s to hit because of my enhancement, but they're also going to get that reroll 1s to wound. I'm going to probably use that there. This guy, he moved up. He's got line of sight through the crack on the Land Raider, so he'll vortex and shoot that at him. And then he's going to charge in and smack the Tallyman. Purifiers landed back here. They're going to sabotage in lane's deployment zone and then hide and try and see, just make it really challenging for lane to have to deal with them. So, all right, let's see how much of that we can actually do. All right, so with the Paladins, I use the Anti-Chaos 4-up strat, and I also use my challenge card strat to go reroll hits and wounds of 1. Lane chose to pop smoke to get cover, and it was very relevant. He rolled a lot of 2s on his saves. I wound a ton on that 4-up. And without the cover, without that, that's the plus to give him the cover to go to his 2-ups back, it would have been 8 failed saves, or 8 wounds worth of damage. So, or he would have taken 8 damage in there. Sorry. Unfortunately, that is not what happened. The Land Raider came through unscathed. So then we just went in the Vortex too. Lane just decided to roll 5s and 6s on that as well. So Land Raider is going to live forever. So then we charged, smacked the Tallyman into oblivion, ran and hide behind the wall, smacked the spawn into oblivion, and kind of fell back behind the wall, but there's only so much we could do there. So we did get 2 kills on no prisoners. We did get, we started our sabotage, and that's going to be it. All right, over to lane for turn 5.
For my final turn, I pull Recover Assets and Area Denial. So Area Denial, pretty easy. Recover Assets, couldn't get anybody into my deployment zone. Even being able to move through walls, the unit has to be wholly in the zone, so I couldn't do it. So the Poxwalkers are going to recover assets, and No Man's Land, Death's Route are in DJ's deployment zone. So I'll get 3 points from Recover, 5 points in Area Denial. Just 3 from shots downtown at these guys. Killed, what, 2?
Yeah.
Yeah, just killed 2 of them with some shooting. That's it. That's my turn. On to DJ.
All right, so for my last turn, this might look a little awkward, and people are probably asking questions on what happened. So we'll start this off. So I got my Challenger card, and once again, I didn't go for the points. I went for the stratagem side of things. I had Establish Locus and Engage on all fronts. So establishing locus. Good job, librarian. You did your part.
Yeah.
So we moved out the purifiers. They got Overwatch, but they just took one little plip damage, but they lived. And then we took the challenger card. We used the stratagem side, which gave us plus D6 to our move characteristic. So we used that to move the paladins here.
I think they were starting here.
They started here.
Well, you brought one back with the apothecary, so they got a little bit closer.
Yep. So we moved here. We ended up getting and we advanced. So we got a 12-inch move, put us up to here, right in front of that Land Raider. Then we charged the Land Raider, went anti-chaos 4 up, and combined with the grenade from the purifiers and everything else, we did successfully blow the Land Raider up and then pile in on the objective. And since we have our banner with our nice OC2, we were able to take this objective and take this objective. And we held this objective, so we actually held more. So we got 15 points on the last turn. Hooray! But it doesn't really matter. Final score is Death Guard 90 to a Grey Knight 65. So we made a valiant push at the end to score some points. Obviously, if we went one more turn, these guys would have a lot to say about it. My paladins would be hurting significantly. And you have this whole big brick of Death Shrouds that could come up there. So my paladins would be heading back home real fast. So I don't have really that many resources, but it was nice to see that kind of late game utility on it. So we'll talk about that more in the post game. So that we'll see how this goes with everything. A little bit better, feeling a little bit better. Death Guard is still a tough matchup. Still learning Grey Knights and learning the ins and outs of what I can do and kind of learning the math. So, well, let's get over into the post game. We'll talk about that there. All right, guys. As always, thanks for watching, and we'll talk to you again soon.